I guess we're ready. Morning, everybody. We have roll call, please, Jen.
Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jennifer Finley, Jim Molitor, Carol Langford, Danielle Matt. Here. Big Matt. James Steele Jr.,
Yes.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Glenn Two Teeth, Lanice Trahan.
Thank you, Jennifer. Tom, would you give us a prayer this morning?
Creator, I want to thank you for this day. And thank you for all the blessings that we have before us. Thank you for our family, our friends, our relatives, all those in our community. I give thanks for all of our healthcare workers and law enforcement and military, all those that put themselves in harm's way for our communities, provide services to our people. I want to ask you to give us wisdom for our thoughts today and our decisions as we move forward to protect our resources and look forward to all of our people. I want to give a special thanks to all those students out there that are graduating and moving on to another level in their life. We want to pray for their success as they move on from their graduations. Pray for all those that are traveling. Pray for all those that are sick, ill, those that have lost loved ones, that they become healthy. Let those that are sorrowful seek happiness as quick as possible. We do all this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Tom. We have minutes from May 30th.
Here.
Yes, go ahead, Tom.
Hey, I just, it's Len's comment in the beginning on the state contribution. Just wanted to correct one item he mentioned. The sentence that says this contribution will be used for non-tribal member irrigators. The contribution is, so I'm not exactly how to reframe this. It will benefit non-tribal member irrigators through the improvements of the all related water projects. So it's really habitat improvement. Hey, Len, I was just talking about your one comment in the minutes. Just trying to correct it a little bit. So if we just change that to the contribution will be used to provide improvements that would benefit all non-tribal member irrigators and the project operation, something like that.
Well, actually, legal has given us a proposed amendment
Okay.
to this paragraph, and I think it was sent to everybody. I can read the proposed amendment that came from legal, and basically it starts from the proposed changes from Len's second paragraph there. Len Two Teeth mentioned the discussion that took place with the governor's office regarding the state's contribution to the water compact yesterday. It was a disappointing discussion that took place, and he wants council to consider going a different direction with this specific issue. The tribes put in a lot of work to build that government to government relationship, and the state is jeopardizing that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And then it goes on with James's remark, has been abbreviated quite substantially. James Steele Jr. commented that tribal council had a meeting with Missoula County commissioners and had a nice meeting with them. The Missoula County commissioners, the sheriff, and the administration were there, and it was a good discussion. It's refreshing to see the nice relationship the tribes have with Missoula County. That is a suggested edit from legal, wanting to basically, I guess, censor a little of the information we send out for legal reasons, is, I guess, the understanding. It's the amendment suggested by legal on our minutes. And so it really affects your statement, Lynn, so I'd be glad to hear if you're okay with that. And it really affected James's remark, and I'd be glad to have that, a remark about that. Otherwise, the minutes are the same as presented throughout the rest of it. The part that Tom was just talking about with the irrigators and all that language. Yeah, some of that.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I didn't quite make it that far. So when we talk about the 13 million, it's really centered on projects that benefit our wildlife and fisheries. It's not really going out and rebuilding a canal. It's going to take some habitat that we bought or land and reconstruct and redo like a river. And so it benefits the irrigators by improving that habitat and the water delivery. There's some diversion points that are associated with that, but it's really about the fisheries, that particular money.
It's actually targeted at the Little Bitterroot.
It is.
And will actually change up Mill Pocket area. Canal A coming out of Mill Pocket will make a big difference there. And one of the reports I had from the irrigators in the Hot Springs area was that they diverted water into the A Canal to get going and delivering water down to the reservoirs, and no water was coming down the canal, that they actually had holes in the A Canal big enough that none of the water was getting delivered, and they had to go basically patch those. And so that 13 million headed toward that.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Len.
what I would like to retain in there, and this is the truth, okay? The statement, the governor told us the funding is in his budget and the legislature approved that budget. And CSKT assumed in good faith that the state of Montana would hold up their share and help us with the irrigation project with that funding. I would like to keep that in there. That's the truth. I mean, there's, you really can't dispute that.
Well, I really don't dispute any of the rest of it either, but
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, totally.
Okay.
I would not.
other thoughts?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, James.
yeah, I'm comfortable with legal's review of my comments.
Thank you, James. Abby, have you seen the legal suggested changes?
Yes, they also sent them to me. I was just waiting for council to review them to see if I can delete all of that.
Okay. I thought they did.
And I would actually like to hear why and kind of the reason, rationale behind legals before maybe approve the minutes at the end of the day or something after legals update.
Yeah, we should be able to do that. we'll postpone approving the minutes until legal and ask them in legal the reasons why they want the amendments.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what this is.
So we'll put those off until legal. But we meet legal sometime today, don't we?
And then after you guys adjourn, you guys have the update at the end of the day with
Okay.
Jordan and legal.
Okay. Well, let's move on to our agenda for today then. Jen?
I have one to add on the agenda, not a walk-in.
Is that George? I was hoping George would come in.
George Ducharme?
Yeah.
I can go grab him. Mine, what, can I say what mine was or no?
Okay,
Mine was Mel just sent me a letter stated that Bill Faust was the only one that put a letter in for the fish keepers. There are 2 vacancies for 3-year term. Wanted to know if you guys wanted to appoint Bill Faust so they can get that committee going again, I mean, the board. But she said she'll keep advertising for the one spot that's still open.
got a motion?
Motion by Tom McDonald to
Motion by Tom to
appoint
appoint,
Bill Horton Faust.
second by Len. All in favor? Unanimous. I can't see James. Thank you, James. I usually have that over here where I can see stuff. Any other for the agenda? Tom?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, for your agenda on Thursday that I will be gone all day Thursday. So personal leave for doctor's visit.
Carol? Anything else?
Did they ask for a follow-up on the, level 10 report that we had yesterday?
We do that. If there's anything else, I look for a motion to approve the agenda. By Danielle, motion. You got second? All in favor? I got you written down. Then you got the second, Meg. Unanimous? So, come on up, George.
And he would like executive?
We'll go out of regular into executive. Rescind the decision on Al Sloan to make it a outright purchase rather than a contract. As soon as we're out. We are recording. We're in regular. Motion by Martin. Second by Bing. All in favor? So the Al Sloan purchase per contract is now adjusted to be an outright purchase.
Got it. Thank you very much.
And to prioritize the purchase of the properties.
Yes.
I don't think we need any motion beyond that then, okay. Go ahead, Martin.
Is Mark out of the office this week or?
He's out till, after lunch.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Tammy.
Thanks.
Jen, you got a walk-in? No walk-in? Tom, you wants a level 10 report, and Carol, you had something for this morning. We'll get back to that when you remember. Bing, you got something for this morning. Okay, okay. Okay. Well, forestry, you're up. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. We got a couple of issues. First one is Sean DeFrance, couldn't make it this morning. He's entertaining guests from Nez Pierce, some elders and our elders from both culture committees down at Nine Pipes today. They're convening, trying to gather information from the elders about values concerning them and forestry. So it's a 3-day thing that they put together, and so he couldn't make it here today, and I'm gonna represent him. The Rocky Mountain Research Station every year puts in a request to come on to tribal lands to do what they call FIA, forest inventory analysis, and there's approximately 100 plots throughout our reservation boundaries, which they measure about 10% of them every year. So they're asking approval. We have a, let's see. Oh, where at? Oh, there we go. So this is a permit we put together for them every year. It talks about the length that's good for 1 year. These are the people that are involved with this. The actual field person is probably this Jason Toombs. He leads a crew that comes onto the res. I think they're planning on doing 13 plots. When they do these plots, they're very similar to our CFI plots, our continuous forest inventory, where we go out and have a fixed plot and then we measure all the trees in there to measure the growth of our trees, which we use that data to develop a forest inventory analysis, which gives us an overall picture of the forest. They do the same thing, except it's on a national level. They got plots throughout the country. Apparently, this is some kind of a national defense thing that they put together. So in case of a national emergency, they know how much wood they have available to them for whatever emergency might come up. So anyway, it's an inventory that they do every year. The Rocky Mountain Research Station out of Missoula kind of heads it up. The head of that program is in Colorado, I believe, but so they're asking for permission. This is the permit which we issue them if you grant them permission to visit these sites. They have this permit in their possession at all times. They have GSA rigs to identify them as GSA workers in case anybody comes across them and wants to know what they're doing. This information is used to develop, or I think it's like a 5-year report, which one should be coming out shortly. And if we do have, they do produce a report, we generally get a few copies of that. And so we'll have a chance to look at whatever data they've collected. So I guess my ask is that we ask them to, or grant them permission to use this report. We'll first get our signature from this Kristen Pelt. She must be new. She'll sign it, and then once we get that signed document, then we'll bring it to the chair for signature, and then they'll be officially able to go up in the woods and collect this data. There's no destructive data. They're not knocking trees down or anything like that. They're just measuring the trees as they stand.
Questions? I see you're dropping a couple plots that are in the primitive area and the Lozo area.
Yeah, so we go over, they send us a list every year of the plots they want to do. We locate those plots and determine whether or not we want to allow them access to those plots. Some of the plots are located in tribal member only areas, so we deny them access to those plots. We keep asking them to remove those plots, but they're still on there, so they keep coming up. But we check them every year when they send us the list, and we say, no, can't go there.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Steve, I don't recollect any problem with these guys doing these in the history. They've been doing them for like ever.
We've been doing it for over 20 some years now, so.
So with that, I would make the motion to approve the request.
Motion by Tom to approve the permit, second by Len, all in favor. Unanimous. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Zach Underwood, Forestry. We are here to ask now for permission to advertise the 2 remaining logging units up in South Valley. Both of them are line sales. And the first one we'll go over is the lower line. There. We'll go over upper line first because it's on the docket first. But so the upper line is up in the 4,000 system road up there. A little bit smaller total area. 488 acres is what we came up for the logging unit area, and we're harvesting 182 of that, leaving 306 in reserve. Grand total of 20,852 tons. And then a total value of that is 164,275 with TSI. There is no roads charge on these line units. We have a separate road package we're putting out for that. And then let's see if I can get the lower here.
Go ahead, Martin.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Is this the sale that you needed to move the equipment out of, off the road?
That's a part of the lower line, so it's the same sale area, yes, but it's part of the one where we need to get that yarder off is the lower line.
Yeah, that piece of equipment's still there. We're still working with legal. We've come up with a plan to actually build a little road around it to get past it. It seems like that's where we have to go, the way things are moving. I mean, if they're by chance they get it moved out of there, then we can use the road, but it's just gonna take a little lip around the piece of equipment to get through there.
But so that's the upper one. The lower is the one that we were just talking about, that we do have to get a little road built around a yarder. But that one, a little bit bigger acreage just due to the spread of it. Total acres on that is 5,511, harvesting 405, leaving 5,106 in reserve on that. With that, total tons looking to be harvested is 15,034, with a total value of 136,840 with TSI. Once again, no roads charge applied to these due to the separate road package that we put out. What we're looking for on those is just permission to advertise these. We're looking to hopefully sell them on the 20th. That way we can get harvesting, hopefully.
Questions? Good, Len.
Good morning. Just a quick question here, just going through the document here under pulpwood, it's undetermined and the amount is undetermined, so does that give the contractor an opening to use that pulpwood for firewood, or do we keep track of that anyway? Do we have an agreement with any of with DHRD to provide firewood in with these logging sales? Do you?
Yeah, we're looking at another, area, I think is it Jetty? Where we've got we think we have a, area that might have some abundant, good firewood, non-burned, that we can supply, 4 or 5 loads to the LEAP program, elders program. The pulp on this is optional. The pulp market right now is really back and forth, whether they're taking it, they're not taking it, whether there's a market or not. So we're leaving it up. We would love to have them take the pulp out. And it's not a valuable resource, but it does assist us in treating the forest when we can remove that small stem diameter stuff and clear out the area for making a better forest. It is and not, sometimes we have it as you have to take the pulp, and right now the market's not demanding that, so it's optional at this point. If the logger feels that he has an option to bring that pulp out, they generally do. It makes a little bit of money for them, but it's not a big money maker for us at this point. And so we do have intention to bring 4 or 5 loads, 3 or 4 loads at least, down to the LEAP program and from some source this year.
Yeah, and I can kind of expand on that too. There isn't any kind of agreement for them to take out any of that as firewood, at least not for their own gain. The mill down in Bonner, we talked to them about 2 months ago. They basically told us, hey, we'll take it. But I know they're getting just slammed because it's one of the only places to go. But so yeah, we're hoping we get someone who is willing to take a lot of that stuff out and make that trip to Bonner, but it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, and it would be tracked just like we track stumpage. Every load that goes there.
Other question? Entertain a motion to allow the advertisement. Motion by Bing, second by Martin. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Sell some trees.
Sounds good. And I just had one more thing, if I could have your time. I requested for the Forest Health Protection, the Forest Service, I've requested an aerial detection survey light to kind of give me a good idea of what kind of bugs and cruds we're dealing with across the reservation. Wasn't sure if I needed to get your permission, but I just wanted to kind of make you aware of it. It's basically their low flying planes over our management areas. And then they process the polygons of each agent that they think's working on the tree. So whether it's pine beetle or ips or Doug fir beetle, any type of situation that's happening out there. So I wanted to inform you, and I just wasn't sure if I needed official permission from you guys to do that. But I just wanted to bring it up. So.
Is there any objection to the flyover the units for the sake of looking at Forest Health?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Don't see any objection.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Have a good day.
You want a separate motion on each? I was considering the advertising.
That was young.
Okay, let's do it again. Motion by Martin. Second by Bing. All in favor? There, got a second.
Hey, Steve, have you guys like drained the yarder and got all the fluids and everything out of that? It's up there. I mean, does it run on fluid? I'm assuming it's diesel. The yarder on the lower sail, have you guys got it all the fluids out and all that?
Morning, Katie.
How's it going? Who's pressing talk? Okay, I wasn't sure if I was pressing all the way. Okay, well, that's nice. Okay, so I'm just here, so Montana Fish and Wildlife Parks would like to partner up again with us to do a survey wide of our tribal waters for any AIS, taxa. It was reported earlier this year that there were some Chinese mystery snail at Finley Point, the state park. And so they wanted to sample more along those water lines around over there. And also last year, Pablo Reservoir, Eurasian water milfoil was detected, and they want to get together with me and Flathead Irrigation Project to sample the canal systems to see if there's any flowering or Eurasian water milfoil in those water areas. So they are just proposing to sample our waters, and they will share their findings with us, and I will be with them, or another tribal employee will be with them with AIS program.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yep, I'm just AIS. I'm the Aquatic Invasive Species Program Manager. And they just have the powers and the tools right now to do the sampling for us.
When, question, when they're like parentheses, crayfish only, what's that about?
Say that again?
Some of the samples are crayfish only?
So that was a couple of years ago. A lady, they were partnering from, I think she was from Louisiana, and she was doing a statewide study on the crayfish in Montana. And that was just 1 year.
Oh, so that's not,
Nope.
they're not
yeah.
doing that again? Okay,
No.
okay.
Yeah, that was just funny, I guess.
So
she
like
got that one.
sampling to see what eats better, the
Right.
invasive or the
Do a little
native?
boil.
To make a motion.
Motion by Tom to put forward the survey, second by Martin. All in favor? Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you. And most of these, it shows that they have to get a tribal recreation permit, and I just don't see that in this packet, are they required to get a tribal recreation permit?
So normally in the past, if they just put in for it, you guys will kind of waive their permit fees, but I'm sure they all have permits because they all like to go fishing. So,
Do that, Carol?
It's usually required, or it says exactly what she said, we'd waive it. So it needs to state it.
It says, I agree to obey all applicable tribal and federal laws and regulations. I assume that would be, yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions? All in favor? Unanimous.
alright,
Thank you,
perfect.
Katie.
Thank you. Question real quick, Martin. I'm sure people are gonna be asking, are you gonna be at the MISC or the Western Montana Conservation Commission meeting later today or tomorrow?
I'm going up today. I can't tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. I'll let them know. Thanks. Have a nice day, everyone.
Morning, Mark.
Morning. I'm here today to request money. That seems to be the only time I come in here. I don't know what the deal is there, but, modification 4 to contract 21-197. This contract is the Jocko Pipeline conversion contract with Morrison and Merrily out of Missoula. We're looking for an increase of $504,331 to make it a not to exceed contract amount of $3,710,604. There's 2 new task orders that are associated with this modification. The first task order covers, I guess what you would say would be services that they have provided and are continuing to provide. There's the original scope of the project had a set number of coordination meetings laid out. And due to delays being experienced, we're exceeding that. We need to continue to have coordination meetings with Morrison Merrily and find out how the project is progressing on their end. Also included in this task order is some additional survey work for the phase 4 and phase 5 realignment of the pipeline. We did a little bit of design change on phase 6. The original design called for a 24-inch pipe all the way out to the shawl range units. And after having some talks with the Tribal Lands Department, we modified the plan to provide a smaller stock water pipeline out there. Guarantee that there's going to be stock water available on those range units. And with that, we were looking at putting in probably 6 or so stock tanks on a float system to provide water out there. We are going to leave the existing ditch or canal in place, so in the future, if irrigation was ever called for on those range units, it could still be provided. Trying to reduce the cost and provide a little bit more, I don't want to say better service, but something that's probably more in line with what those range units are going to be used for. And we decided that stock water was probably the best option for that. One more thing on this task order was some construction phase services. The pipe was delivered. Originally, it was supposed to show up during construction when there was people around. due to delays, not having right away, the pipe showed up and called for some additional effort to be placed on receiving those loads, inspecting them and inventorying them. So the total cost for that task order was $369,682. Also with this modification, the second task order is to design a pipeline connection for the lower S irrigation system. Currently there is a diversion in place on the Jocko River, and the river is moving away from the diversion as erosion occurs. Gonna leave it stranded in the middle of the river, not providing any sort of benefit. So with the pipeline project, we decided that it would probably be a better alternative versus replacing that diversion structure to look at doing a jack and bore under the highway and under the railroad at approximately where I call it the vitamin factory is, and run a pipeline right over to the lower S system right there. We would then eliminate that diversion on the river and reclaim that section of canal and everything down there, do some mitigation. So the design, the permitting, surveying and everything in order to do that, the task comes to $134,649. Any questions from anybody?
Do you have any maps?
Go ahead, Carol.
I do not.
I think it would be important, so, for me anyway.
I realize when I come in and talk about things that I need to, yes, start including a little better visual. I know where I'm talking, but I realize that not everybody follows along with my geographic references at times.
Go ahead, Todd.
So in shrinking the 24-inch pipe down to a stock water pipe, what you're talking about, like a 4-inch pipe or something?
6-inch.
6-inch.
Yep.
And was the 24-inch pipe already purchased, or can you reuse that for something else or not?
The 24-inch has not been purchased. We purchased phases 1 through 4 pipe, so 5 and 6 has not been purchased. So we're not stuck with any inventory at this point. You can see my little arrow? Okay, so in the original design, the one leg of the pipeline comes right down. I believe this is White Coyote, and turns, come on mouse, turns and comes north past the vitamin place and actually comes up here and terminates. This new lower S connection would be an extension of this leg under the highway, the railroad tracks, and pretty much straight down the road, and you can see the lower S system right here. So we would, version should be right down in here, I believe it is. The trestle is more right here. So it's downriver from the trestle, but it's in this general area. So yeah, there it is right there. So in running the pipeline over and providing water, we would be able to reclaim this whole area here and get rid of the diversion that's failing and the river's moving away from right down there.
Go ahead, Tom.
So in the previous design, you already had the right away for the railroad, or is that something that's still, is
This is all new.
that a problem?
The previous pipeline design did not have this. This was I hate to call it a afterthought. This was a light bulb come on moment of, oh, the pipeline's right there. Why are we gonna look at replacing lower S diversion when we
Yeah.
could just run a pipeline over and be done with it?
Is that, did the rail already approve it? I mean, are they okay with it?
The permits are being submitted. There was before the start of the year, they put in a right of occupancy permit or something like that, which would allow them to go survey that. And then we had the change over from MRL to BNSF, and that created a whole new nightmare. So currently it's with BNSF for approval, yes.
Sure, so it's anticipated you would get the approval.
Should get it, yep.
Other questions? Go ahead, Tom.
I'd make the motion to approve the modification for the Morrison Merrily contract 21-197.
A motion by Tom. Second by Martin. All in favor? Unanimous. Go ahead.
Question.
Mark, what's the status of the rights of ways over fee lands? Do we have fee landowners working with us?
Yes, we do. There's two landowners that are not being real. I don't want to say they're being not friendly, but they're kind of just being a pain more than anything. One of them is complaining about, well, you put this pipeline in and then I'm gonna have to change my tie-in points for my center pivots, and oh, that's gonna cost me a couple $1,000, and you should pay for that because you're changing the irrigation system. And it's like, well, buddy, you're getting over, $1 million in infrastructure put on your ground alone. You're gonna have your reduced pumping cost, everything benefits you. So you don't have a leg to stand on. And he's just likes to argue, I think. There's another landowner that the issue is across his piece of ground on the south side of it. There's already an existing ditch there. So there's an easement across that. But the one leg of the pipeline runs on the east side of that parcel, and there is no current ditch or easement there. And he does not want to particularly provide another easement. He claims that the county, when they put the road in, took 30 feet of his ground, and he doesn't want to provide an extra 40 feet in addition to that 30 feet. It's a tough situation to kind of walk the line. The gentleman is the father of the person who's actually listed, but he's the one that makes all the decisions. And then you run into various language like the compact stating if you are receiving water from FIP, you will at no charge provide a easement or right of way to the United States or the tribe for the benefit. And we're not allowed to condemn the ground. And FIP is by their CFRs required to provide water to him. So it's a tightrope walk of trying to get him on board with the project. He wants the water, but he doesn't want to provide the right of way. And it's a small pipeline. This leg of his is not the 48 inch. It's more of I believe, a 24-inch down there, so the disturbance to the ground is gonna be minimal. Morrison Merrily does have a land agent that is meeting with him several times, and he has recently come up with an alternative of, well, maybe I should just sell it and move out of the valley. That makes Skype perk up a little bit. But that, other than that, all the rest of the landowners on the project they're very cooperative. Everybody's really excited about the project, so. Yep.
Questions?
Okay, thank you for your time. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Mark. Good. We're good. Gary and Kylie, come on up. Morning.
Good morning, Chairman and Council. Thanks for having us this morning. We've got a few items. And we'll just kind of start down at the top. So if you look at page 59 in your packets, this is a request from a documentary group out of Missoula that we've worked with in the past on other films and similar projects. He right now is working with our biologists and getting some filming done on the connectivity of grizzly bears across the landscape, also having kind of a focus on the wildlife conflict, and promoting that habitat connectivity across the highway. So he's working with our biologists and looking at some of the wildlife crossing structures, looking at how bears are using them. And then he is interested in so we're here to request approval for him to use a drone to capture some footage of some of those structures in those areas, kind of to look at that larger landscape when he's talking about connectivity in the documentary. And so we've worked with him in the past. He's been really great, gotten us good materials to be able to use as far as footage and film. And he is willing to, have all of that raw footage or edited to us as well this time.
Questions? What y'all think? Go ahead, Tom.
I make a motion to approve the request.
Motion by Tom, second by Jimmy. All in favor? It looks unanimous.
Thank you very much.
And is he filming at Bob Bell's compost heaps?
We do have, I think we still have a trap set there, so if they catch one, we'll get some good footage. He does actually have some of his high definition still cameras set there at our traps, just in case a bear comes in, he might get some good footage for us to use.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Carrie, when the Portland State Group was here a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you gave a chance to talk to him or either one of you, but I went out there on a Monday morning to talk to him at Nine Pipe Lodge and do a presentation. I think the next day they went to the bison range, I think on Tuesday. One of those guys was out on a hike that morning and got great footage of a sow grizzly bear and a cub out there in the fields, right there going towards Nine Pipe. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, we do have a collared sow in that area who's been hitting those wetlands hard on that north end of Kicking Horse. So, yeah.
Bob said he had a sow with 3 cubs come in.
Out at his silage or compost. Yeah, we've been tracking them there since last fall. They've been kind of hanging out there and trying to deter them and encourage them to move on. So we'll move to the next item, 60 in your work or in your council packet there. So for the last 2 years, for fiscal year 22 and 23, we have submitted for and been successful in sequestering some funds for chronic wasting disease. The first round we used to create our chronic wasting disease management plan. Last year, we were able to use those funds to implement it. We had tribal member big game check stations. We were able to hire some seasonal folks with that to be able to implement the plan that we created. And so this is a continuation of that. They have a new cycle coming up for this year. We would be awarded the funds for fiscal year 25. And so this is a grant proposal to submit to APHIS for that. And again, this one would be focusing mainly on the implementing the plan. So it has, the budget really includes some of our biologists' time, Kaylee here, the one who's really orchestrating the CWD management, and then 3 seasonal technicians this summer or this winter to host some of those more of those check stations throughout the week. I'm trying to get down to the, oh, it might not. Oh, in the chat. I don't know if that was to me. So this is just kind of describing the match portion and what the different objectives of the grant are. We're hoping to increase the samples submitted by our hunters. Last year, we were able to get quite a few folks, more than double the amount of tribal members submitting samples regularly for chronic wasting disease. And so we're gonna, hopefully with increasing our check station efforts this year, we'll be able to kind of reach more folks while they're out in the field, continue to to have hunter sampling kits ready so that folks can get their own samples while out in the field. And then another part of this is some outreach stuff. Oh, I guess maybe the budget didn't get attached, my bad. So a couple of the items, specific outreach events, will have some workshops for the public to learn how to pull some of those samples so that they could become comfortable with doing that while they're out in the field, and then just bring us the sample in a bag versus trying to get the whole animal head or carcass up to us, to hopefully increase the ease for folks to submit those. And then I think that is it that is in this grant. And then I did have contracts and grants look at this, and they got a few just changes back to me. It was just adjusting the IDC cost up to the 18.26. So we put that in and it changed. The only thing that's changed from the version you're looking at is the total requested amount is 98,539. Everything else, and then is about this, or is the same. Yeah, and I've printed it here. It just didn't get attached to this this version, but this is kind of a breakdown. I think that just has the time. So this right here is the overall kind of budget, the requested amount, the in-kind. And I can pass this version around if you want to take a peek at that to look at the recipient share versus
Jennifer,
APHIS
and she
share.
can send it to us. So.
Don't know if this breaks the budget down. It just shows what the grant would cover. So you can look at the personnel, see, there's scalpels, coin envelopes. That's for things to collect samples with. And I think this first objective, oh. So we do have budgeted in there some time for radio advertisements, as well as some, I think, a tent rental to help with our fall festival. And those are kind of the two big events that we're hoping to really get that information out to folks to get the word out for chronic wasting disease and the sampling workshops for people to come in. So this, yeah, you can see the budgeted items here. It just doesn't have the cost, but the sheet that we sent around has the costs there. And then, of course, porta potties. That was something we didn't have on our grant last year that we realized very quickly was very important when we have people sitting out at check stations for 10 hours a day. And then this doesn't have a resolution. I just need approval to submit it, and its due date is the 10th. So hopefully I'll have it in by Thursday.
Motion by Daniel to approve the request to put in the grant application. Second by Tom. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you very much. And then our final item this morning is we have flown in April the Little Money. I think it is in there. So page 79 in the packet. The bighorn sheep, the Little Money Paradise herd, we were able to fly that cooperatively with the state, and we were able to get the count numbers. So you can see there are 345 sheep observed during that flight, 55 rams and 100 ewes. Or no, the minimum criteria is to have 55 rams and 100 ewes, and we did meet that. So based off of the counts. Oh, so there were, okay, so there were 55 rams and 100 ewes. And then, so we had just kind of have some some statistics of the demographics there. There's, about 47 lambs per 100 ewes. And so we do meet those, minimum criteria.
Carrie, what's the ideal carrying capacity for that management area?
I don't know if there's a calculated carrying capacity.
We don't have
Your microphone, Kaylee.
Oh, yeah.
we don't have a carrying capacity right now, but this doesn't meet the maximum amount of sheep that we've had in that area in the past. So we're keeping the proposed quotas the same so that we can continue to grow that population to meet the maximums that we've experienced in that area.
And then the minimum, so when we say that they meet that minimum criteria, that just means you want to see about 55 rams to 100 ewes and about, or you want to see about 3 rams to every 1 ewe, and same with lambs to see an increasing population. So we just show that to show that the counts that we recorded do show that we're meeting a trending increasing population. Yep.
Carol, then Tom.
Yeah, so do they weed themselves out when the population is too big? Or does disease come in and take them all, or?
Yeah, so with sheep, the disease is a big concern. A lot of domestic sheep, can transmit pneumonia to them, which can take out a herd pretty quick. But as far as, once they can start expanding, they do start hopping around to different ranges. We are starting to see a few more bighorn sheep in the Ferry Basin area, kind of along that Racehorse Gulch Road there. And so, there's just a few individuals that'll pop across for a while and they'll join back up with the main herd there. But, that could be something you see when they start to hit some of the, oh, thank you so much. That they could start to kind of disperse to those surrounding areas.
And what was your name?
Kaylee Durglow.
And so for the quotas this year, for both, we are proposing to keep them the same as last year. So we would have 6 ewe tags and 6 ram tags and 3 ewe tags. And so that would be for CSKT, the CSKT quota, and then the Fish, Wildlife and Park quota off the reservation would be, essentially either 6 tags or 6 ram tags, and then 2 specific U tags. And last year we did have all of our U's filled, and we had, 5 rams, so there was 1 unfilled ram last year.
Carrie, is the state's frozen too?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah.
That was my question. Carol, just one other thing that's really predation by mountain lions on bighorn sheep is a real factor. And, typically they can be, at least in my experience, and looking at some unique populations, that's the most devastating thing to a population besides, pneumonia.
Yeah, so then Ferry Basin, the Bull Elk Ferry Basin, draw would be proposed to be the same as well, with the quota being set at 30. I believe we had 8, harvested and turned back in last year. Yes, the action is to set the quotas at the
Retain the quotas as they were. Any other questions? Entertain a motion. Motion by Tom. Second. Second by Lynn. All in favor? We're unanimous. Go ahead, Carol.
Since you're the only NRD person here, I mean, you two, as you're going down Highway 93, there's a parcel that's in mitigation and it has purple, looks like purple loose stripe on it. Is that something that should be on mitigation property? I mean, shouldn't we be caring for that as you go past 44 and it's on that side of the highway? And
Yeah.
there's just big patches of it and I'm like,
I just noticed that last year. That's what's called Dame's rocket, it is an invasive species. I'd say, golly, when I was in the field about 10, 15 years ago, we were pulling all of those patches and we had kind of cut it back quite a bit, but we've been focusing our restoration efforts on a few other parcels. And yeah, I've seen that it has kind of come back in that area with a vengeance. So we will have to start looking at, eradicating some of that again. That is one that comes in, when you have disturbance along the highway, it's one that kind of spreads out and it's really pretty. So some people will put it in their yards and then it spreads from people's yards. So
it's on both sides of the highway now.
yep. Yeah. I have that in my yard at home. I hit. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Carrie. Kaylee?
Can we go into executive before you guys take a quick 5-minute break?
We'll go out of regular into executive. And, the question of the minutes is still at hand, so before we go to lunch. Haven't seen that yet, no,
What is that, Carol?
out of the Missoulian. Haven't looked at it yet, no.
Where's that, Carol? Approve the minutes. with
Approve,
corrections?
yeah, let's approve the minutes with the corrections from legal.
I make the motion.
Motion by
Approve
Tom,
The, May 28th council minutes with corrections.
can I get a second? Second by Martin. Thank you. All in favor? Lynn? Jimmy? Tom? Carol? James is up. And Martin's up. So we got 7-4 and 1 against, Len against. Danielle's out of the room. and we'll break for lunch.